Hi, I'm Brecken. So now that you know why we count the body wall movements, I'm going to explain how you do that. So this is an apple juice auger plate. The easiest way to count body wall movements is on an environment that you can control. And so we don't want to count body wall movements on something that the larvae want to eat, because then they won't move, they'll just do the mouth hook movements. And so we put them on this auger plate because they can't eat it, but they're trying to find it, and so they move around the plate. One important thing about the plate is that you don't want to have holes, because the larvae like to burrow themselves into them. Additionally, depending on the materials you have in your classroom, you could also choose to, instead of making this apple juice auger plate, you could just take a little drop of apple juice and put it on a piece of filter paper, or just like the lid of this, and just mess it around there, and they will crawl around and try to find it, but they'll do those body wall movements. And so a body wall movement in completion is the inchworm effect. It looks like this, and so if it just is wagging its head, that's not a body wall movement. And so it's kind of important that you're focusing on watching it do this over and over again, and then sometimes they stop and they'll just kind of hang out there for a little bit, but you just want to wait. And so in our lab, we typically count for a full minute, and so for a full minute you watch them under the microscope and you watch them do that inchworm movement, and then you collect that data. Another important thing is that you use the same materials throughout. So if you're going to choose to do the apple juice auger plate, you're going to want to do that for all of your trials for all the different food types, in comparison to if you chose to do the apple juice on the slide, you'd do that for all the different food types. To begin your experiment, you're going to want to transfer your larvae from the food dish onto the apple juice auger plate, and in between that you're going to want to probably wash them off in a little water bath. So you're going to take them from their food and put them in a small amount of water, not too deep, kind of move them around a little bit, and then put them onto the auger plate. Because if you don't, they're going to have that food still on their body, and they're just going to try to eat it instead of moving and doing the body wall movements that you're trying to count. Consistency is key. So another important thing when you're counting the body wall movements is consistency. And so you want to make sure that you're not blowing on the plate, if you're counting out loud, that your breath is not affecting them, because they can feel that and it might affect what they do. They might stop and wag their head. Additionally, you don't want to have too much light, because they can sense that as well, and it might affect their natural patterns and what they're going to crawl around and do. And so then to prevent that, if you are like a mouth breather or something and you just want to put the lid over the auger plate, then that won't affect them, and you can still look at the larvae as they crawl.